the Green Bay Packers are your favorite team.
They are.
This must be a real thrill for you to be here with Dave in the Cotton Bowl with his stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's more exciting. You have a Super Bowl I, II ring in front of you. Dave Robinson's here. We get to go out on the field where he made arguably the best play in Packer history. This is a highlight in my career. I've been at Heritage for, I think, 12 years now, and this is up there for sure.
I think the best part of the day was when you asked Dave where the play happened, where he got Don Meredith, and he told us to look where the blood stain was.
That was a cool story, and I've been trying to get in the Cotton Bowl for years now and never got here. And my first time to do it with the Pro Football Hall of Famer who made the biggest play, and one of them in Cotton Bowl history. Pretty exciting.
So talk to me about some of the things that are behind us in terms of what
Sure.
what thrills you the most.
I mean, it doesn't get any better than a Super Bowl I or II ring from a Pro Football Hall of Famer, NFL legend. One thing that I really like about the Super Bowl I ring is it's going to be accompanied by the actual wooden box that he received in 1967. I know of only one other that is sold with the box, and this is the only one from a Pro Football Hall of Famer. So very, very significant piece.
When he calls you and says it's time to get my stuff into the hands of others who might appreciate it, what's that call like for you?
I knew I had to get on the phone with the travel agent and book the flight to Akron, Ohio, the next day, basically. It's a dream come true. I see a lot of things at Heritage. Obviously, being from the Green Bay area, the Packers is my life, or a big part of my life.
I'm sorry about that.
A big part of my life, and you almost can't believe it. He's had these items for so long. He's enjoyed them for so long, and I think to hear that he wants to put them in the hands of a collector that'll cherish them as much as he has, it's definitely the right time for him.
If there's a piece behind you, except for the Super Bowl rings, that you could have, which one would it be? The
kangaroo
skin
skin cleats. And yeah, I mean, just look at them once. The battle scars, the blood, the dirt, the chips, the tear in that kangaroo skin. That, the Super Bowl I and II rings are very cool, but as far as uniqueness, I've seen Super Bowl I and II rings. I've never seen anything like those cleats. They're special.
So when you get on that plane to Akron, when you meet a guy who I'm assuming is one of your heroes,
Mm-hmm.
not just a Hall of Famer, not just a Packer great, but a man who really was sort of at that moment when the NFL obviously merged with the AFL and became the modern NFL we know today, a man who was an extraordinary part of football history. Hell, he was on the board of the directors for the Hall of Fame for 27 years. As you say, you have a lot of highlights in the course of a career. Talk to me about that moment when you get off the plane and when you meet him.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely prepared myself mentally and things to ask him, because this is my job, but it's also a chance to learn about history, learn about sports history. We went out for dinner last night, and the one thing that I kept going through my head before I met up with him, is that he was every bit as big of a sports star as Hank Aaron was in the 60s, mm-hmm. as Muhammad Ali was. Dave was the Hank Aaron, the Muhammad Ali of the Packers back then. And so one thing that I wanted to ask him, were you friends with Muhammad Ali? Were you friends with Hank Aaron? And he was. He has some great stories about meeting with Muhammad Ali on an airplane, and how Dave wasn't in first class, Muhammad Ali was. Muhammad Ali said, "Come sit with us in first class." The stewardess said, "No, you can't, because you don't have a ticket." And Muhammad Ali said, "All right, can I go back and coach and sit with Dave?" That's how big Dave was back then. He was just like those, greatest of all time guys.
Right.
The Packers were always on TV because they were winning championships in the 60s. So back to your question, what was it like? I was sitting with Hank Aaron. I was sitting with Muhammad Ali yesterday at dinner, basically.
That's awesome.